You are what you do.
Who is this?
You are what you do.
Well, we live in an MVP crazy world, don't we? I mean, think of the sports world. Every team has an MVP, every tournament has an MVP, every league has an MVP. But this same concept is in a lot of areas of life. We name people as employees of the month or salespeople of the month. Time magazine always has their person of the year. And Sports Illustrated, sportsman of the year. And these people that are hailed as most valuable performers, most valuable players, most valuable people, really, well, we honor them and we applaud them and we envy them, because one thing we know for sure, if you've earned your way into MVP status, your life has got to be great, right? You've got to feel so good about yourself. You are really somebody because you have reached the pinnacle. And I suppose we fantasize a little bit that maybe someday we could be an MVP, that maybe we could be a something of the year, or something of the month, something of the day, something of anything. We live in an MVP crazy world. And I believe this practice really reveals a belief deeply entrenched in the American psyche. And that belief is simply, I am what I do. If I perform, I have value. If I can excel and I can reach the top, then I'm somebody. If I can somehow climb the summit, then maybe I have significance. It's a performance mentality. I am what I do. If I do something great, I am somebody. It's deeply entrenched in our culture and in our way of thinking. You know, this I am what I do belief kind of reveals itself in three basic areas. The first one is simply this: I am somebody if I accomplish something. You know, if I get that job and I get that promotion and I climb the ladder and I get to the top, or if I'm able to graduate cum laude or magna cum laude or summa cum laude, and I don't know if I got those in the right order because I'm cum nothing laude. But if I can accomplish something, I am somebody. And others, it kind of surfaces this way. I am somebody if I possess something. If I've got a good enough car, and I've got a big enough house, and I've got all the toys and the gadgets and maybe the bling, and I wear the $2,000 suit or whatever, you know, I am somebody if I possess something. It's interesting. Last Sunday's paper, Parade Magazine, their annual What People Earn issue. And I'm so wicked. I mean, I ate this up. I read every little person. I want to know what do these people do and what do they make? Because we kind of have this thing, you know, that, you know, if you make enough money, that you can buy enough stuff, man, you must really have a great life. You must really be an important, valuable person. You know, I flipped through here to say, man, are there any pastors in here? So I'm looking, I couldn't find any pastor, but I found Mitch Carmody, 53 years old, a lot older than me. I'll let you know when things are supposed to be funny. He's a church facilities manager in Hastings, Minnesota. Makes $42,000 a year. Well, you know, I make a little more than that, so I kind of felt good. So, well, there are no pastors in here. Let me see if I can find somebody my age. 52. And so I began, going here, and right on the front cover, John Paulson, 52. Okay, I'm going to compare myself to John. He's a hedge fund manager in New York, New York. His income, $3.5 billion a year. I don't make $3.5 billion. In 100 lifetimes, I'm not going to make $3.5 billion. But I'm looking at that, and the funny thing is you start going, okay, I'm better than that, better than that. Oh, I'm not as good as that. Oh, that's not fair. What is that revealing about me? What could it reveal about us? That we feel we are somebody if we make enough money, if we can possess enough stuff. And then it might surface this way, I am somebody if I impress someone. If I can be funny enough, if I can impress you that way. If I can be smart enough and impress you that way. And if I've got some kind of athletic skill and I can impress you that way. If we impress somebody, well then, you know what? Now I am somebody because I've impressed others. These are offshoots. They're different manifestations of this deeply held belief in so many people in our culture. I am what I do. If I perform, I am somebody. If I excel, I'm significant. I have value. This is true even in church work. I realize my job's a little weird. But sometimes a bunch of us that do weird things for a living get together at things called conventions or conferences. And what's hilarious is we exhibit every classic sign of the I am what I do mentality. You know what? Here's the most common question. Where do you pastor? Oh, in this town. Really? How big is your church? I'm tempted to say, well, I've never actually taken a tent measure out to see. But that's not what they mean, right? How many people? And some people might say, well, I have 200. Oh, isn't that nice? And somebody goes, well, my church is 5,000. Oh, you are important. That's how it happened. And then people will do things like this. So, what kind of building you have? That's where I leave the conversation. Just walk away. That's where I go, buildings aren't important. The church isn't a building. God, I wish I had a building. All that kind of stuff. Do you really impress somebody? I'd be really honest. You got our convention of pastors. We're all evaluating the speaker. So I can do that. It's there. Because my job might be a little weird, but the dynamics of humanity apply everywhere, including with what I do. It's this whole mentality. And it's almost like this. We live our lives as though somehow there's some sort of value ladder that we have to climb. And if I can get a good job, and then I can get promoted on that job and promoted again on that job so that I can get the top up here. You are important. You have value. More than here and more than here. And these people here have virtually no value at all. Or income. If you got a job making income, well, that's one thing. But man, if you could make like $40,000 a year, whoa. But then, how about $100,000 a year? How about $250,000? How about $3.5 billion? Yeah. I was like, whoa, now that's value. That's important. And we could take virtually every area of life, and if we really thought about it, we've got a value ladder. And the more you accomplish, and the more you possess, and the more you can impress, the higher you are on the performance ladder, and you become someone with more value, more importance. The somebodies are up there. The nobodies are down there, and we're somewhere trying to get to a higher rung so we can just be somebody.